Welcome to this edition of Flashpoint. I'm Jason Colthorpe. Exciting news to talk about with the soon-to-be CEO of Bedrock, Jared Fleisher, who's brought exclusive new images of the future of Detroit's riverfront. Then, insiders Mario Morrow, Portia Roberson, and Orlando Bailey are here to discuss the mayor-elect and her top priority when she takes the reins of the city of Detroit. It is Sunday morning, and this is Flashpoint. The Detroit mayor's race now in the books, and as expected, Mary Sheffield made history yet again. With 77% of the vote, she becomes the 76th mayor of the city, the first woman to win that race. Previously, she was already the youngest city council member and the youngest president of council. She says that experience has shaped her for this moment, with her top priority building Detroit's neighborhoods with good homes and businesses. She also wants every Detroiter to have affordable housing. Our insiders are here to discuss how she's going to be able to do that. But first, under the umbrella of Rock Ventures, Dan Gilbert owns several companies: Rocket Mortgage, StockX, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Bedrock Detroit. With Bedrock, Gilbert has acquired a good chunk of real estate in downtown Detroit. Through this, we've seen the rehabilitation or revitalization of the Chase Tower, the First National Building, and the Stop. And of course, the creation of the new Hudson's buildings. Many would argue Detroit's resurgence wouldn't have been possible without that. On December 1st, Rocket will have a new CEO, Jared Fleisher. And he doesn't just want to continue Detroit's revitalization. He wants to supercharge the reimagination, especially at the riverfront. This morning, we're getting an exclusive first look at the new renderings of how the Renaissance Center will look and the destination he hopes the entire area around it will become. Let's talk to him about it right now on Flashpoint. And let's say good morning to the soon-to-be new CEO of Bedrock. And we're talking with Jared Fleisher this morning. You currently the VP or president, I guess.
President, yes,
President,
sir.
soon-to-be CEO. This has got to be an exciting time for you.
It is. The only thing better would be anchor, but it is a very exciting time, and I'm excited to talk to you about what we have planned for the future.
You know, I'm glad you step into this role here at a pivotal time for the city. A new mayor coming, the city has all of this momentum going, and Bedrock and Rocket Companies and Dan Gilbert have been a key part of that throughout. What's your top priority, I guess, right now for Bedrock's next phase of where Detroit is? Yeah,
it's a great question. Over the last 15 years, we've really been part of one of the greatest comeback stories in American history. When I first, got here, when the Super Bowl came here, the streets were empty. We were painting the facades to make it look like, the city was alive. Here we are 15 years later, top 50 place to visit according to Time Magazine, New York Times, Travel and Leisure. One of the greatest comeback stories in American history. We really focused on the Woodward corridor for the past decade. Our vision for the next decade is to double down and do that on the riverfront. We have the best river walk in the country, an extraordinary international river walk. No commerce on the riverfront. Our vision is to redouble everything that Dan has done, and over the next 10 to 15 years, build the best family-friendly, broadly accessible waterfront district in the country on our riverfront.
Well, we know about the Wilson Centennial Park that has just been finished there. I want to talk about that. But first, I think a lot of people immediately think, what are we going to do with the Ren Center? A lot of people have talked about different ideas. I think maybe there's an idea there of what's going to happen, but how do you see that playing out?
The Renaissance Center really is the key to everything, because you cannot redevelop the riverfront in the shadow of a dying Renaissance Center. Yeah. And the Renaissance Center simply is not viable as an asset anymore. Everybody knows what happened with the train station. The Renaissance Center is 8 times the size of Michigan Central, the train station. It's twice the size of the Empire State Building, and it's all empty office space and a 1970s era indoor mall at the base of it. We have to reimagine it. We have an incredible plan to do it, to get rid of the obsolete space, build signature public space. We have some renderings that we're releasing through you guys, just incredible, beautifully activated public space. Convert the office towers to housing and affordable housing, revitalize the hotel, put apartments on top of it, an observation deck like you have in great cities.
That includes knocking down 2 of the towers, is
It
that
includes
correct?
knocking down 2 of the towers, but think about it. You can either have 2 obsolete empty office towers, or you can have a Millennium Park right on our riverfront that's
Yeah.
activated, all around the year. But not only is that critically important in and of itself, but that opens the door to a decade-long transformation of the riverfront.
Yeah, and that kind of really could be the capstone to all of it. And we've seen, as I mentioned, the Wilson River Centennial Park there. When it's all said and done, what is that vision for the riverfront there?
So we use analogies like, Navy Pier or Chelsea Pier or the public market in Seattle. Our vision is to do Detroit's version of that. In our vision, we're going to build something that's going to get 5-10 million people a year to visit it. Detroiters can visit it every weekend. People in the region can visit it every weekend. But an economic engine for our whole region, for our state, an amenity for everybody who lives here. I can't put into words the significance of. We have an empty riverfront right now, 20-something acres of empty surface parking lots in a dying Renaissance Center. Is Detroit, Michigan better off with that? And that, by the way, continuing to get worse and worse if we don't do anything? Or revitalized Renaissance Center and a vibrant riverfront destination that's going to attract millions of people a year to our city.
Yeah, and you meant destination being that's what the Navy Pier in Chicago does. People go there just for that. And while we're on the topic of new additions and things like that, talk to me about the Hudson Tower. This building, Hudson Detroit, now that it seems like every day we make an announcement about a new tenant moving in. We know GM's going from the RenCen over to Hudson. We're doing part of our Thanksgiving parade there. The team is going to be there, but a lot of exciting changes for that tower.
Yeah, just last week, Jamie Dimon was there announcing that JP Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the world, is moving its headquarters into Hudson's. Jamie Dimon was here shining a national, international light on Detroit's comeback story. We just also cut the ribbon on Nick Gilbert Way, public space activated, just really the most beautiful, exciting holiday activation, open for everybody. I walk by Hudson's every day on my way to work, and there's not a day that goes by I don't look at it and think this is just spectacular, and what a symbol of Detroit's rise and a source of pride for our city.
We have a sky cam that looks at Comerica, and if we could just move the Hudson over about 20 feet, it'd be...
Yes, sir. So one more thing I just want to put out there, the Renaissance Center and the riverfront, it's everything to us for the next 10, 15 years. We're going to be taking a step forward on it, we hope. This coming week, we're going to be before the Downtown Development Authority of the City of Detroit, seeking their partnership in some of the public realm improvements, better connecting the riverfront to downtown across Jefferson, redoing the streets, helping with the public spaces. So that'll be, we hope, a very positive step forward for the project. And we are just committed, God willing, that again, if we can double down everything we've done in this city over the next 10 years, imagine where we would be, imagine where the state would be.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the timing on that too. That was something I wanted to ask about. And in that, Jamie Dimon being here, he was with Mayor Mike Duggan when he talked about kind of the future and in regard to Hudson, which makes me wonder, we have a new mayor coming into office. Have you met with the Mayor-Elect Mary Sheffield? How do you feel like your vision with your company is going to merge with her and her administration?
We could not be more excited for her administration. I mean, she won a resounding victory, 77% of the vote. She really ran on a unity message of people need business and business need people. I think she's going to be an incredible bridge. There should be no division between the business community and the community. The truth of Detroit, unlike most places in the country, you have an incredibly civic-minded business community. You have folks from here who could invest anywhere else. They choose here. It's not necessarily the best monetary investment, but it's about impact. It's about making a positive difference in their community. So Mary Sheffield recognizes that and is going to be a tremendous bridge between business and community to keep driving the city forward.
I want to leave you this, and it gives you a chance, I tee it up for you to say some great words about your boss, but we've seen Dan Gilbert taking a step back a little bit with his health struggles, but after what he's done over the last 15, 20 years, well, you go on and on how many years back, but where we've seen Detroit come, it just never stops with what he wants to do and the improvements. How do you see what he's done and just kind of take that and run as the future of the company here?
There's nobody like Dan Gilbert, I think, in the country, maybe on earth, in terms of his generosity and impact on his community. Gary Torgo, I'm sure you know he is the chairman, soon to be of the 10th largest bank. I had the privilege of talking to him the other day. He said the reason why we need to come together and make sure the Renaissance Center and the riverfront happens is because there's never going to be another Dan Gilbert. Somebody who's willing to put it all on the line, not to make a buck, but to make an impact. You have to take that opportunity.
Yeah. Incoming CEO of Bedrock, Jared Fleisher, thanks so much for your time this morning.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's good. I know a lot of people have tons of interest about everything happening at the riverfront and all those projects. We're going to meet with our insiders coming up next, see what they think about all of this. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. Let's get the roundtable cooking this morning. Joining us, insiders Mario Morrow from Mario Morrow and Associates. Portia Roberson is the vice chair of the Michigan Democratic Party, and Orlando Bailey runs Outlier Media. Mayor-Elect Mary Sheffield, what does she need to do before January 1? Orlando, you're my favorite. You go first.
I'm happy to be your favorite. Mayor-Elect Mary Sheffield, it's a little bit of a tongue twister. I think she needs to do exactly what she set out to do. So the day after the election, we all got a press release talking about how she wanted to outline the transition. We saw that Butch Hollowell would be leading that transition. She's talking about community meetings and making sure that there's transparency and that everybody has an opportunity to be at the table to help set up this transition. She's talking about a citywide survey. Sounds familiar, hint, hint, Outlier Media, right? And she's also talking about transition committees to talk about various policies and things that she has proposed. I mean, a lot of the policies she's proposed have a legislative imperative. You got to go to Lansing.
Yep.
You got to talk
about that too.
The national legislators, and so there's a lot that she has.
And those positions are important to fill quickly, right, Portia?
Very quickly. I mean, she's going to have, this whole city turned over to her in a few short months, not even really a full 2 months. And I think listening first to the community is key for her. She's run on that. And I think it's going to be key that the community feels involved as this transition begins to happen. And then on day one, she needs to have those people in place. I'll give her grace in the fact that there are certain mayors, prior mayors, did not have everybody on day one, so she shouldn't feel pressure to do that. But I think there are key pieces that she wants to get in place so they walk in the door with her.
In the days,
comms officer day one for sure.
That part.
and the days since the election, Mario, have you heard anything about possible changes she might make to existing members of the team?
Well, there are a lot of nervous people over there right now on the 11th floor. But I think that she's got to, and I'm going to piggyback on Portia and Orlando, those positions are crucial. I think you better find yourself, if you're going to keep the police chief, you better let people know you're going to keep the police chief. CFO, the financial part of this administration, the budget director, her big thing, her platform was talking about affordable housing. So you better do something with the housing director.
Yeah.
Those, and you're right, communications, as we well know, is going to be key because the honeymoon with the media is going to be over on January 2nd.
She's been on the honeymoon with the media.
Right, I think she would disagree that she's had a disagreement
I don't know about that.
Orlando touched on this. How important is it to her get up to Lansing and make sure lawmakers know to create that relationship?
I mean, listen, she has worked for 12 years as the president of the city council. She's watched Mayor Mike Duggan do his role with the state legislators. I think she's going to follow in those footsteps. They're not completely unfamiliar. She's been council president, so they know her well. I mean, I think the first tweet I saw or threads or whatever thing they were using was from Governor Gretchen Whitmer. They know who she is. They've been dialed in because they know how Detroit goes is how the rest of the state goes. So there's not this sense of unfamiliarity with her, and she's been leading already, so she's going to dial into that right away.
Let's face the fact here that the council president's role and the mayor's role are totally different. And there is going to be some growth and a learning curve that has to be established. And I think she's going to do a good job because of that experience. But I think she'll be well received in Lansing.
Or should
I
really
think
hit
it'll be
home.
interesting on this Lansing question. I think familiarity counts, but a lot of the initiatives that she wanted to advance on council were justice-oriented initiatives where she got up against a roadblock with the mayoral administration saying that it's illegal by state law. Going to Lansing with a much more centrist and Democratic Party, right, who don't really want to upset or embrace too many progressive agendas, it will be interesting to see how she navigates that terrain.
And that's very split. You've got, I mean, sometimes you'll have West Side Republicans that help push things through that affect Detroit.
Yeah, and I wonder though if the perception of Mayor-Elect Sheffield will be that she is as progressive as she was as council president, or whether those legislators feel a sense of confidence in the fact that there was more of a middle road as she campaigned than there had been maybe in her early years or even some of her latter years as council president. So I think they may respond to what they've seen in the campaign.
And that leads me into where does she go when, obviously Detroit's got good momentum. You want to make sure you advance it, but you also want to be your own mayor and step out of Mike Duggan's shadow. How do you delicately do that, Mario?
Well, I don't know if you can do it delicately. I think she's going to establish a relationship with the corporate community immediately. And to be honest with you, the corporate community endorsed Fred Durhal, and they did a fast flip when she received 51% of the vote in the primary. So I think that she's got the corporate community where she wants them, but she's going to have to work with the corporate community and balance that neighborhood, those neighborhood leaders as well. That's the delicate part. I think you've got to figure that out because the funding part of the progressive of her platform, I don't know if the money's going to be there. The ARPA funds are gone. I just don't know, and Orlando probably knows better than me as with research, but the funding is going to be an issue. The money in the city of Detroit I don't think it's going to be there.
Well, I asked her that question. I asked her that exact question, especially now that ARPA funds are running out. And her answer to me was that we need to look at where we're currently spending money and see where we can move around.
She's not shying away from big issues either. The one thing I took away was #1 priority, we're getting into the neighborhoods, first thing, rebuilding. And she also mentioned in her victory speech, affordable housing for every Detroiter. I mean, these are lofty goals. Is it good, Portia, to put, if you're going to swing the big bat, let's do it right out of the gate?
Absolutely. I mean, she won, by a large margin. I think they say she talked about a mandate.
That is a mandate.
And the reality of it is why would she start off swinging, and being shy about the things she wants to do for the city of Detroit? That's what she's talked about consistently. She should absolutely do that. And I think that's going to help her step out of whatever perceived shadow there is of Mayor Mike Duggan. I mean, it is time for her to shine. I would be the first to say that Mayor Mike Duggan is in the past, and we're moving towards the future. And Mayor-Elect Mary Sheffield is the future.
Off the tongue yet.
I'm getting there, though. I'm going to work on it.
Let's just say Mayor Sheffield at this point.
No. We got to put some respect on her name. She's Mayor-Elect Sheffield, so we got to make sure we refer to her by her correct title.
To put a bow on the whole Lansing relationship, I mean, speaking of baseball metaphors, it'll be a real home run if Mike Duggan pulls it off, and suddenly that's your partner in Lansing at the Capitol. I just showed you guys some renderings. We just heard Jared Fleisher, the new Bedrock CEO, talking about the vision for downtown. I wanted to get your thoughts on what you see coming to the future of the RenCen, on how they want to make that riverfront spot a Navy Pier-type destination. Orlando?
Well, go for it. I've not been, this is controversial, I've not been a fan of the Renaissance Center.
You're not alone, I don't think.
So,
I have 1 minute.
Who has?
Y'all go for it.
I mean, the Renaissance Center has been the bane of our existence since it was created. You can't find your way around anything there. So whatever they're going to do to improve that building and the area in front of it, which is beautiful, but the improvements will be welcomed, I think.
Two towers going bye-bye.
I love it. I love the landscape. I love the green, the greening of the riverfront, and I think that it's going to open up some doors to international tourists who are going to come here and just
That's
spend a lot of
exactly what
money
they're hoping for
in our community.
And he also said he's excited to work hand in hand with Mary Sheffield. So that's a partnership that gets going right out of the gate, and I'm sure she'd love to hear that as well.
Yeah.
Insiders, Mario, Portia, Orlando, thanks so much. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
We'll see how the next 4 years goes. I'm sure we'll be talking all about it. More Flashpoint after this. Finally, 4 headlines from this week that was, starting with one that may have had you doing a double take. New candidate alert, this one in the 10th congressional race for the seat being vacated by John James. Michael Bouchard is running as a Republican, and yes, he is the son of the Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard. He's now the 5th Republican in this race, and there are also 4 Democrats in what is a very crowded field. From a potential U.S. representative to a former state rep, another former aide has rolled on former Republican Speaker of the House Lee Chatfield. Rob Menard pleaded guilty to stealing tens of thousands of dollars from a political action committee that was meant for other candidates. He and his wife, who cut a similar deal with the Attorney General last month, will now testify against Chatfield. Menard and his wife Ann were Chatfield's 2 top aides, and he helped run political action committees with her, as well as nonprofits that are central to Chatfield's charges of embezzlement. They'll both be sentenced next month. Chatfield and his wife expected to go to trial next year. A very bittersweet election night result in Auburn Hills. Greg Ouellette was running for one of the 4 open city council seats after serving 27 years on the city's planning commission, and once running unsuccessfully for council just 2 years ago. Voters elected Ouellette with 15% of the vote, but sadly, he won't be taking office. Ouellette died of an apparent heart attack shortly after the polls closed. His wife saying it was his lifelong dream to serve on council, and she's confident he somehow knew he'd won it this time before passing on. We certainly hope that is the case. Finally, a familiar headline that's no less discouraging. This week, 8 former major leaguers were selected by baseball's Veterans Committee to be considered for the Hall of Fame. But again, Tigers second baseman Lou Whitaker was not one of them. Now, this isn't just me complaining, a Tigers fan whose favorite player was always Sweet Lou. No, I came with receipts. Whitaker was the Rookie of the Year in 1978. He was a 5-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger, 3-time Gold Glove winner who finished with 2,369 hits, 244 home runs, while being one half of the best double play combo of all time. Sorry, Tinker to Evers to Chance. But it's another stat that shows Whitaker's greatness, and that's wins above replacement. That's a newer metric by Baseball Reference, and Lou's was 75.1. That is 7th best for second baseman all time, better than 15 of the 20 Hall of Famers at that position, including Ryne Sandberg, Roberto Alomar, and Jackie Robinson, who are considered by many to be some of the best second basemen ever. His WAR was also better than 6 of the 8 players chosen this time around. It's time for Lou Whitaker to join his other half in the Hall of Fame so we can finally say, down to Trammell, over to Whitaker, and on to Cooperstown. That's it for this Sunday. Always appreciate your emails at flashpoint@clickondetroit.com. We're going to read a few of them next week. I'm Jason Colthorpe. We'll see you later.